Thank you for dropping by today. My name's John Stanley, and it sure is a pleasure to be with you through this means at First Presbyterian Church. We have friends, and they have a daughter. The daughter's name is Madeleine. And while Madeleine had a wonderful career and has a wonderful career, being in New York City at the time when the coronavirus was hitting its peak, it was not in her mind that she would certainly be there, but there she was standing outside the airport in New York in the dark of night, hailing a taxi cab, trying to get to one of those makeshift hospitals that they had in Central Park in New York. She was a nurse. She had a very comfortable position over in Nashville, Tennessee. But she felt a calling to go to New York City to assist those dying people. And when she finally found the taxi cab driver, and she said, "Hurry, hurry," she asked the taxi cab driver, "I've got to get to these people, these sick people." So as she was getting out of the taxi, she paid the taxi cab driver. And as she departed, he said one thing to her. He said, "Thanks for being here. I'm glad that God called you here for such a time as this." And she pondered that during her stay in New York. God had called her for such a time as this. And rather than Madeleine running away from the virus and running away from the sick people, she was running to them, to assist them, to help them as a nurse, working beside the bedside of literally dying people. In the book of Esther in the Bible, we read where Esther was in the king's palace, and she was a Jewish girl, and the king had in mind to do away with the Jewish people, to extinguish them. And Esther wanted to run away, but her uncle Mordecai tells her, "Esther, who knows? Perhaps you have come to this place for just such a time as this." And so by her being in the palace at that particular time, she was able to save the entire Jewish population of the country then. And when we ponder these things for such a time as this, sometimes we wonder, what are we doing in the world at this particular time? What are we doing? What we are doing and where we are doing it? Is it God's will that we are in a particular place for such a time as this? Like Madeleine, the nurse, we can have the faith that God has us in a particular place for such a time as this. We sure are grateful for you. We're grateful for all the Madeleines in the world that leave comfortable positions and go to a place and render help and assistance and support for such a time as this. God bless you, and we hope that God will hold you in the palm of his hand until we can see each other again, eyeball to eyeball, and we surely look forward to that time. God bless.